Hello, and welcome to the Take Out the Guesswork podcast. I am your host, Marsha Tate, and I'm here to help you transform your ideas into income. As a business startup coach, I get the opportunity to help other emerging mompreneurs plan and launch their business ideas. In this space, we exist to empower you, to inspire you, and celebrate your wins. So if you're interested in demystifying the business startup process, lean in, because we're getting started right now. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Take Out the Guesswork. My name is Marsha Tate, and today we are covering a topic that is necessary for every entrepreneur who aspires to be successful, and that's discovering your why. So we'll explore the importance of passion and purpose in business and how it can drive your success. But first, a word from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Work and Play Entertainment. Visit playinc.online and check out their podcast Growth Academy. It's an excellent resource if you're thinking about starting a podcast or growing your podcast. I personally am a graduate of this fine academy, so I'd just like to thank Favor and the Work and Play team for supporting our show. If you happen to enroll, make sure to tell them that Marsha sent you. Now, whether you found this podcast by accident or totally on purpose, I would just like to take the time to say hello and namaste to my Indian family. India is on my travel wish list. I have several friends who I consider family there, and I will visit very soon. And so I like to consider myself a current day cultural anthropologist. I like to study people. I love to learn about what makes people tick. And so I ask a lot of questions. So just gonna set expectations up front. I will ask a lot of questions. So you can feel free to respond to them via email, via social media, or on whatever platform you're using to consume this content. With that being said, let's get into it. What type of business do you work for, work in, or work around? And why? What was your motivation for working there? What keeps bringing you back day after day? And no, your answer cannot be for a paycheck. If you are working in a field or a job that once caused your heart to flutter or race, does it still do that? If so, why? If not, why? I love knowing all the things, and so I love also helping people discover their purpose. Even more so, I love helping them work towards that purpose. And so on today's show, it'll be full of fun facts and statistics. But first, let's get into a little story time. As I mentioned on the last podcast, I am married to my wonderful husband, Marcus, and we have 5 sons. They kind of vary in age. The oldest is 29 and the youngest just turned 8. However, what I did not mention before is that I gave birth to my first son at the age of 15, which means that I was pregnant at the age 14. Okay, I'll give you a minute to let your mind stop racing and tell you how that ties into my entrepreneurial journey and my why.
And so it begins.
I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, East Side to be exact, and what some would consider poverty. And so for as long as I can remember, I've always dreamed of owning a business and making millions of dollars and providing for my mom and my sisters. Well, as you know it, life got in the way momentarily, and I became a mom at the age of 15. I married my then boyfriend, and we've been doing life together ever since. Although my path took several different turns, my why remained the same: to provide for my family. The family's just bigger now. And so I'll tell you this, though. God gave me a dream, or what I would like to say, a glimpse into my future as a child, and I could not shake it if I wanted to. I grew up thinking that it was all about me and my family, and now I understand that every single thing, from my experience to my gifts and my talents, they were all placed in my hands for the glory of God. It is my purpose to help other moms escape poverty and change the statistical paths of their sons and daughters. The Bible says in Romans 8, verse 28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." And I can totally testify to that. Now let's get into this topic. In the world of business, understanding the deeper motivation behind one's actions, which is often referred to as discovering your why, and I'm using air quotes, that can be a crucial factor in achieving like long-term success and satisfaction. This concept, however, is not just a motivational idea. It's supported by lots of research and numerous real-world examples. For example, Simon Sinek's book called Start With Why explains that successful individuals and organizations are driven by a clear understanding of their why, which provides a sense of direction and purpose. How does one discover their why? Well, that's simple. List the reasons that drive you to do what you do. Understanding your why can provide clarity, motivation, and a sense of direction. According to a study by Deloitte, employees, especially Gen Z and millennials, and I'm not picking on them, Gen Xer, they're more likely to stay at a job that aligns with their purpose and values. They have higher levels of engagement compared to those who do not feel connected to the company's mission. I think it's the same for me. I think it's the same when you own your own business as well. When you're not really tied to the mission or it doesn't feed your why, then you're more likely to quit.
Maybe you're right.
Anywho, I also feel like your why is just about equal to your passion. But how does passion and purpose connect? Simply put, passion is the fuel that keeps you going, especially during the tough times. It gives you the energy and the enthusiasm to overcome obstacles and stay committed to your vision. Because not every day is a sunshiny day in the land of entrepreneurship. You will want to quit more than you want to hold on, but your why will keep you going, I tell you. And so from passion to purpose. So purpose is defined as the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. Your purpose is the overarching goal or mission that gives your life or business meaning. It is the bigger picture that guides your decisions and strategies. Understanding your why is intrinsically tied to knowing your purpose, as the two concepts are interdependent and mutually reinforcing. Passion is not just a nice to have, it's essential. It drives you forward and sustains you through challenges and makes your business truly fulfilling. It kind of reminds me of Colossians 3:23, which is in the Bible. And it says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. So I feel like when you work with passion and dedication, you're honoring God and his purpose for your life. I come across a lot of people who seem to know their why. I feel like your why is very situational. However, when it comes to purpose, not a lot of people know what they were designed to do, what they were made for. And so I feel like also being situational, we get into the race or on that hamster wheel of life where we have to just keep on moving because life kind of dictates the seasons that we go through. When it comes to knowing your purpose, usually you feel like your purpose is tied to school or is tied to a job or is tied to family. But when the school is over and when the family's gone, you are left with you and you have to figure out what is it that you were born to do or meant to do. Some of us are lucky enough to figure that out along the way. Some of us put those puzzle pieces together a lot sooner than others. Some people don't know until they're left by themselves to then be introspective and look in the mirror and try to figure out what is it, what's my purpose, what did God create me for, what should I be doing? And so for those who don't know what their purpose is, I feel like a lot of times it's tied to the things that, the themes in your life or things that God has called or caused to happen more often, things that you get excited about when you think about it. Again, your purpose will be the thing that you work towards. Your passion will be that one thing that kind of fuels you to work towards it. Like let's say purpose is a road, passion is the gas in your car that keeps you going down that road. I think that's a good analogy. Discovering your purpose often involves looking beyond profits and considering how your business can make a positive impact. I tell anybody that listens, I'm more about impact than I am about the profit because I just like to make a difference, right? And so it's about aligning your business goals with your personal values and the needs of your community. A few benefits that come from knowing your purpose. One, it helps to build trust and loyalty with your employees, with your customers. It helps to drive innovation. And there is a long-term sustainability for those who work according to purpose. The auditing firm Deloitte put out a quote that says that purpose-driven companies witness higher market share gains and grow 3 times faster on average than their competitors. Woo! All while achieving higher workforce and customer satisfaction. And so I would want to be one of those people than the people who crumble and disappear because they just don't like what they do, or it's not tied to who they are on the inside. Furthermore, I like to always go to my source. And in the Bible, Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11 says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and the future." So when you find your purpose, you align yourself with God's plan for you. It helps you stay true to yourself and your mission. So when your why is understood, it aligns your purpose to create a cohesive and consistent approach to business. For example, when you know your why, you show up every day. You're very consistent with what you do. Nobody can knock you off that schedule. You show up. I have a business coach by the name of Glenn P. Brooks Jr., and he has this clarifying set of questions that he uses. And the questions are, who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? And who do you do it for? The most important out of all of that is the why do you do it? And I feel like before you start to create your mission, your vision statement, up front, determine what it is that you do, who do you serve, and why do you do it? It's the why that will always keep you coming back to make sure that you're there to deliver for the who, right? And so I really love his approach. Shout out to the MMC, shout out to Coach Glenn and Coach Cherie. And I feel like a lot of what I learned in their coaching program kind of set me up for what I'm doing now. Like I said, I did start my club on Clubhouse over a year or so ago, but it did come from me going into a room that he hosted every morning, like clockwork. He was very consistent. And so him knowing what his purpose was really drove him to make sure that he showed up every morning for the folks that relied on him, the folks that he coached, people that he didn't know. And so I'm really grateful for that. And so it's just knowing people who are very tied to their purpose and understanding their why when you are stuck and in the midst of just trying to figure yourself out will often help you get to where you need to be. Not that you need to see what they do or covet what they do or to hitch your wagon to their star, as they say, but being around people who are clear can help you get clear because they've been where you are and they can possibly help you get to where you need to be or your next level. And so I say all that to say that your passion and your purpose go together like a hand in glove. And once you know one, it's kind of easy to figure out the other. However, if you don't know what your purpose is and you're still struggling with it, I suggest that you pray about it, seek the Lord, see what He tells you, write it down, get before Him, fast, do some things, work on that relationship, and His voice will be more clear to you. As we wrap up today's episode, remember that understanding your why is the foundation for knowing your purpose. The why provides the motivation that drives your actions, while your purpose is the broader mission that guides your overall direction. Together, they create a powerful synergy that fuse motivation, engagement, alignment, and influence, which leads to more of a fulfilling and successful personal and professional life. Once again, I'd like to thank our sponsor and give a big shout out to Work and Play Entertainment for supporting this episode. We appreciate your partnership. If you would like to sponsor an episode or be featured as a guest, be sure to email us at podcast@guessworkfam.com. You can find us anywhere on social media at guessworkfam or through our website at guessworkfam.com. Join us this time next week as we discuss how to research and validate your business idea. We'll provide practical tips and strategies to ensure that your business idea is solid and aligned with your purpose. So we'll see you next time on TOTG, which is Take Out the Guesswork. I appreciate that you have decided to spend this time taking out the guesswork with me. Until next time, bye-bye.